I am not teaching, I am publicly learning. But hi and welcome to Learning for the Life in the UK test part 201, Customs and Traditions part 8, while doing morning stretching, and if you participate in the morning stretching, that is at your own risk. So the next festival which we have here, or tradition, is Mothering Sunday, or also called Mother's Day. So Mother's Day is the Sunday 3 weeks before Easter. So Easter is in March or April. And 40 days before Easter there's Lent. And the first day of the Lent is Ash Wednesday. And the last day before the Lent is Shrove Tuesday. And 3 weeks before Easter, so in the middle of the Lent, there is Mothering Day, or Mothering Sunday or Mother's Day. Children send cards or buy gifts for their mothers. And Father's Day is the third Sunday in June. So that's around 2 months later. But it's the third Sunday. Mother's Day is 3 weeks before Easter. And on Father's Day, children send cards or buy gifts for their fathers. So there's Mother's Day and there's Father's Day. And on Mother's Day or on Mothering Day, the children are sending little cards, sending something nice written in it to their mother, or giving little gifts to their mother. Or on Father's Day, children are sending little cards where they've written something nice in, or giving some nice little gifts to their fathers. Mother's Day is 3 weeks before Easter. We try actually to remember that. That's why I'm holding it for a moment. So 3 weeks before Easter. Mother's Day, 3 weeks before Easter. And Father's Day is the third Sunday in June. So it is June and then the third Sunday. And I think it's better to not confuse them. Mother's Day, 3 weeks before Easter, so earlier in the year, and then in the middle of the summer, third Sunday in the month of June. And now we're going to do some morning stretching. And if you participate in the morning stretching, participate on risk. We're having the legs standing wide apart, and the breathing in and coming down. And the breathing again out. And again in. And out. Again in. And out. Again in. And out. One more round. Breathe in. And out. And again in. And out. Now breathe in and close it. And out. And we're going to do now the first exercise. And you're always breathing in through the nose, deep into the chest, and out through the mouth. The legs are standing a bit more and wide apart. We're breathing in through the nose, deep into the chest, and lifting the arms up. And we're breathing out slowly through the mouth and we're going to one side. And now breathing again in and open thereby the rib cage. And again out. And again in. And out back into the middle. And again in. And now out over to the other side. Breathing again in and out the rib cage. And again out. And again in. And out back into the middle. So Mother's Day is first in the year, 3 weeks before Easter. And Father's Day is the third Sunday in June. And on that day, the children on Mother's Day are sending their mothers gifts and cards, and on Father's Day, gifts and cards to their fathers. Halloween is on the 31st October. It is an ancient festival and has roots in the Pagan festival to mark the beginning of winter. Young people will often dress up in frightening costumes to play trick or treat. People give them treats to stop them playing tricks on them. A lot of people carve lanterns out of pumpkins and put a candle inside. So on the 31st October, so the last day in October, there's Halloween. And it is an ancient festival, so it is, I'm not completely sure what ancient in that context means, but it's an older festival. and it has the roots in the pagan festival. I think I know what the word pagan means, but I don't know how it's pronounced. I think that means it's from the medieval times. So it's an older festival, a couple of 100 years ago, and it marks the beginning of winter. So on that day, on the 31st October, that festival marks the beginning of winter. So from November on, there's winter. Of course, it doesn't have to reflect the actual temperatures on the action. Young people will often dress up in frightening costumes to play trick-or-treat. Also, older people are doing that. And they're wearing some costumes who are sometimes should be frightened. Not everyone does, but having frightening costumes, some people don't have frightening costumes. Some people doing that, older and younger, and they are playing trick-or-treat. So they're going around and knocking at the doors of people and asking them kindly. Basically, the ideas of trick-or-treat, if they give them a little snack or something, otherwise they would be not unkind, which is, of course, if these people then would do something, would be illegal. It's just a little game, a little play. They play trick-or-treat, they're not actually doing it, because that would be illegal. People give them treats to stop them playing tricks on them. It would be illegal if they would do tricks. So they are knocking them, having oftentimes wearing costumes which would be frightening, and telling to the people, they're pretending to be monster or ghosts or something like that, and saying to the people, give us a little snack, a little sweet, or otherwise we would do something bad, which we of course are not doing, and the people living there giving them oftentimes a little sweet or something. And oftentimes a lot of people carve lanterns out of pumpkins and put a candle inside. We don't have a picture of it. A pumpkin it's most of the time orange. We're using orange ones. They are pumpkins with other colors, and they have around that size, around that color. And they hollow it in the inside, and then on the carved lanterns, yes, but they're making a face on one side which should be frightening most of the times. Not everyone does, but sometimes people don't make frightening faces in them. So they carve little faces into the one side of the pumpkin. It's I don't know. I think it's a vegetable, but maybe it's something else. It's a fruit which grows on the ground, and it becomes around that size. They are used. They are also smaller pumpkins and bigger pumpkins, but the pumpkins used are usually that size or that size. And on one, they hollow them on the inside, and on one side they're carving a little face, and they're making two holes for the eyes, one for the nose, and they make oftentimes a mouth, a pretty wide mouth with triangles as teeth, and that oftentimes leaves the impression of being a frightening grimace or face. And then because they are hollow, and after if they are hollow and the flesh of the fruit is taken out, sometimes eaten, sometimes just thrown away, someone can put a candle inside of them. But it has to be done, of course, carefully, not only the carving, but also the candle stuff and the fire stuff. And when there comes the lid again on it, there's a little thing carved at the top, so that the lid can be taken off and the flesh can be taken out, and then the lid can be placed again onto it. And then the candle can be inside, because now it's hollow, and just through this face, through the two eyes of owls, the nose and the big mouth, there the light comes out of the candle, and that sometimes can make shadows and so on. And okay, that's a little tradition. And that is Halloween. Now we're gonna do the two other ones are too complex. We're gonna make their own parts for them. Maybe with bank holiday together. So we are now just doing the morning stretching and nothing else. So if you're here for bonfire night, then you can just go to the next part. Now we're having the legs standing wide apart still. Not so wide, but we're breathing in and letting your arms out. We're breathing in. And we're breathing out, and we're bringing one hand down and the other shoulder stays down. And breathe again in. And out, we're bringing one arm. And breathe in and out the rib cage. And again out. And again in. And now out, back into the middle. And breathe again in. And out, one hand comes down. And the other shoulder stays down. Breathe again in. And out, one arm comes over. Breathe again in. And out. Open ribcage. Breathing in. And out, back into the middle. And now one more standing exercise like this. We're having the feet staying together and we're breathing in and lifting the arms up. And now out and one arm comes down. The aerobatic. Now we're breathing in and reaching to both hands. And again out. And breathe again in. And out and one hand comes down. Breathing and reach. And out, one hand up. Again in. And out, we're doing it for another second. Breathe in and reach. And again out. And again in. And out, one hand comes down. Breathe in and reach. And out again up. And now next exercise. Legs are standing wide apart, we're breathing in. And out, and we're hanging down. And we're only helping to come deeper down. We're breathing in through the nose, deep into the chest. And again out from the mouth. And again in. And out. Again in. And out. Again in. And now out over to the leg. Breathe again in. And out. Again in. And out over to the other leg. Breathe again in. And out. Again in. And out back into the middle. And now close both feet, but we're staying down. And we again just breathing deep in through the nose into the chest. Breathe in. And again out. Again in. And out. Again in. And out. And another standing. And out, we're coming slowly with the round back up and making it the top and back with shoulder roll. And this was the morning stretching. When we will continue with in the next part of the bonfire ride, I thank you very much and next time.